Good morning.
Morning. Morning, Judge.
Good morning.
I haven't seen a prosecutor yet, so we'll wait just a minute. Unless Mr.
Good
Morrow
morning.
decided that he wanted to jump ship and be our prosecutor today.
I've done that, Judge, and always forward, never back.
And Judge
How are you
Darnell,
today?
I'm handling all but a couple of the cases on this docket.
Okay. Let me have the parties identified. Oh, I'm sorry.
Tiffany,
Mr.
Tiffany Williams.
Okay. I thought we had our prosecutor with us, but I guess not. Well, hang on just a second.
Brandy on
Yes.
behalf of the department. Um,
Brandy, you're cutting in really bad. It's either you or me, but is it her or is it me, y'all?
I think it's her. I hear you just fine, Judge.
okay.
Okay.
I'm going to log off and log right back on.
Let me have the parties identified.
Brandy McCluskey on behalf of the
Brandy, that's not any better.
department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St.
Miss Young, are you the worker on this first case?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Let's see if let's just go forward and hopefully Miss McCluskey can get her technology going. Okay, Miss Young, tell me about Trevonjic and Kamani. They're still with their grandparents or grandma?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's Miss Williams who is saying that she is present in the courtroom. There's not been much change since our last hearing. Um, both kids are doing very well in the home with Miss Williams. This month, Kimani should be doing her caps for dental. She has her dental appointment this month to get caps put on. Um, Other than that, they're doing well. Miss Williams is working with Trey. I call him Trey. The name is just a little long. Trey with his eczema. He's doing really good with that. He's still teething, trying to crawl. He is crawling, trying to walk, pulling up on everything. They do not attend daycare. They are at home with Miss Williams and her family. They are doing wonders with these children. Kamani was she was in the speech class, but she's no longer there with she had some extended ECI care, but she's doing excellent now. She doesn't need that service anymore. The family's doing good. We're looking forward to adoption. Miss Williams is pushing to do her classes, and hopefully we'll be transferred to Miss Devereaux pretty soon. We have requested HESIC and redaction. We're just moving forward, waiting for the completion um, of their adoption classes.
Okay, all that sounds very good. Miss Williams, do you have
Yes,
anything that these kids need?
Um, no, ma'am. I have an interview this afternoon with the foster care, and my classes should be completed by the end of this month.
Okay, that's
And,
fantastic.
and
Anything to
Kimani,
add?
she actually got her caps put on last week, Thursday, and she just turned 4 yesterday and had a big party. She had so much.
Turn four
Yes,
on Mother's Day. That sounds good.
yes. It was the whole family there. She loved it, and she's shy to be around people, but she loved it.
Okay, very good. Do you have anything to add as far as a report on these kids?
No, Junior, he's walking now. He's walking, starting to walk. He's about it. Oh, and I have appointment for Kimani to go to school. pre-K, doing her pre-K thing on the 15th. And all her checkup, her daily checkup on the 15th too. So she's moving along. She can't wait to be in school. She's potty trained, fully potty trained now.
Good deal. Sounds like you're doing great with these kiddos. Thank you for what you're doing for them.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Hopefully I get licensed and be able to do some more for other children. I love children.
Yes, ma'am. All right. If we need one, I will set another review hearing September the 8th at 9.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Thank y'all. We'll be adjourned.
Thank you.
Let me have the parties
Yes,
identified.
ma'am. Bye-bye.
Okay, Haley. Ms. McCluskey, can you hear us? We can't hear
Nikki
you.
McCluskey, on behalf of the department, also present in the courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist, Destiny Schwartz.
Okay, Ms. McCluskey, we're having a real hard time hearing you. You're breaking in and out. So maybe move, maybe see what you can do to work on that. Ms. Schwartz, tell me about Haley. Where is she? And tell me how she's doing.
The caseworker on this case is actually Jordan Billions now.
Okay, Jordan, tell me about Haley.
So Haley, she's as best as she can be right now, but she is having a lot of behavioral issues in her current placement. Aside for that, I'm sorry.
Is she having new behaviors or the same behaviors that we've seen for some time with Haley?
The same behaviors that we've seen. Her putting her hands on other children, trying to get a reaction out of them. She's scratching at people, kicking at people. At times, in more serious situations, she has like banged her head against like walls and doors, or like grabbed chairs and thrown them at people. Yeah, just a lot of behavioral stuff going on. We've tried to set up a meeting with placement and CASA to see what can be done additionally, but we've yet to be able to get everybody on the same time.
Okay, I was excited when I read the report to see that she was in a foster home finally, but also read about the same behaviors. What did we do ahead of time to prepare this foster home for these sorts of issues?
I mean, letting them know clear of everything that's happened with her, and just making sure that they are completely aware of everything, and them saying that whether or not they can care for all of her needs.
And what are they thinking at this point?
To be honest, we've yet to, that's what we're trying to get the schedule set up for. I mean, the meeting set up for with them to see what can be done and how they think what else needs to be done or added. Okay.
Do we have any sort of new behaviors or new health concerns with Haley?
No, Judge, no real anything new or anything much. No, Judge.
School-wise, I imagine that was a big shift. We're in the 9th grade, and I'm assuming, had to change schools.
Well, for her placement, she did have to change schools, but I don't believe anything much else. She is having a lot of behavioral issues at school, though.
She goes to a public school?
Yes, Judge.
Obviously, probably a lot of services at school. CASA?
Lena Patrick for CASA.
Okay, tell me what you think about this new placement and what can we do to make this last?
Well, the initial transitions were very difficult, very challenging. At the first home where she was placed, it was just very difficult. So Haley was moved to a new placement. And initially in the home, things were difficult, challenging with her getting adjusted to the other kids and just the environment as a whole. She was displaying some of the same behaviors where she would, hit others and lash out. And school was a real difficult situation initially. And some of the new behaviors that she's displayed where she has been tearing her shirts, and she was doing that, pretty frequently. some things were put in place to mitigate that situation from happening. But like in one day in the cafeteria, she completely undressed. That was hard for them to deal with. But with some things, and foster mom is very engaged with the school and staying on top of what's going on there. Haley is now riding the school bus, and the first week was hard, but she's doing much better as far as her behaviors on the bus. And at home, foster mom and the family in the home, they're able to monitor her behaviors more closely. And so what they have realized is that she's very protective of her space. And if they're able to keep the other kids out of her general vicinity, she does better. Seeing her in the home, I can see that she seems more settled, and she will, engage with me during the calls. But there are times when if foster mom is speaking to her, or if there's something she needs, she's able to express that need. And I think overall things are going much better in this placement because I think foster mom is able to help her with some of the things that she was experiencing initially coming into the home. And there was a meeting with the foster mom in school because she had some concerns that it did not appear that she was getting to the bathroom on time, so she was having accidents. So all of those things are being looked into and to mitigate those situations from happening. I think she's doing very, very well in this home right now. I mean, as far as controlling some of the behaviors and the lashing out and, throwing things and hitting others, I think that is beginning to decrease because of the environment is adjusting and helping her to adjust being in the home.
Good.
There, she has a second art review scheduled for tomorrow, and I think from what I understand, that is to change some things to help her in the school system, since the behavioral specialist is seeing her in the school, and there's also someone that was brought in to help the teacher in the class she is in to help with monitoring and watching her more closely and helping in that situation.
Okay, did we have any sort of medication changes, or did all of the medicines transition and we're still doing well on the same meds?
No, some of the medications were changed because the teachers reported to foster mom that it seems that during the middle of the day, her behaviors would get worse. And so the medications have been changed where some of them are more long acting, and that is being monitored to see how effective that is in controlling her behaviors during the day at school.
Okay. Okay, she's in the 9th grade. Obviously, we've got probably some delays and that sort of thing, but academically, how are we doing?
From the last report we had with the school, it seems like she was doing the things that were required within the frame that she is in right now. So.
Okay.
And I'm not so sure if during this next art meeting, whether any changes will be made as to her progress and the expectation in the program that she will be in.
Okay, what is the overall long-term plan? Mr. Billions, have we talked with the foster mom about long-term placement possibilities? What is the plan?
I have not spoken to them directly about that, but I will try to get a meeting set up with them to ask that question. But the goal is to be a long-term placement or adoption for Haley.
Okay, she will be 16 at our next hearing. So certainly want permanency for Haley if we can get it somewhere. Hopefully it's with this foster home, but if not, maybe we need to be looking at HCS type homes for her going forward. Okay. Okay, anything else on Haley?
No, Judge.
That's it.
Okay, I'll set another review hearing September the 8th at 9.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Brandy McCluskey, representing the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Jordan Billions and Supervisor Jasmine Devereux.
Okay, let me first say happy birthday to Haley. Just happened to be her birthday today. She is turning 16. All right, tell me about Haley. Same foster home since February?
Yes, Your Honor, and I'm covering this hearing for Jordan Billions. He is out today. Yes, Your Honor, she's been in the same placement since February 8th and has adjusted well these last few months. She had been in her last placement since 2018, I believe. So when we moved her, we knew that there was going to be a lot of adjustment for Haley, and the current placement has been great with adjusting with her and giving her time to adjust. It was difficult those first few months, but she is showing so much improvement now. Her behaviors are so much better in the home. So we're happy to see that she's doing a lot better. She's currently enrolled in the 10th grade, and she is struggling a little bit more at school, which we also knew would probably happen with a new environment for Haley. So foster mom is working on just making sure she's helping with those behaviors at school. She's also looking into enrolling her into a different school that will better fit Haley's needs. So we're just waiting on that. She's also had a medication review on 8/19, and she's up to date on her medical and dental. So overall, Haley is she's doing really well.
Okay. Haley, it looks like in this period is still having some self-harming behaviors.
Yes, from what I've got from placement, it's starting to look like that more at school. She's getting easily frustrated at school, and I think it's just her transitioning into being around people and not having like the same comfort she has at home. When talking to placement, she's realized like Haley really likes her quiet time, her space, doesn't like to be bothered, and so placement has adjusted to that. Now we're trying to figure out how to make that work at school. So she does get easily flustered around other children. And it's not super easy right now to move her into a place where she's got that quiet time, or that quiet space for herself. So the school's still trying to adjust. And like I stated, foster mom is looking into a different school that will better fit those needs for Haley. So hopefully we'll hear back from that soon.
Okay. Does Haley have like a communication device that she uses?
No, from what I know, that she is still working on getting one of those, so I can have the worker follow up with placement to see if that's changed. But as far as I know, one has not been provided yet.
I think would help a lot with the behaviors, just for her to be able to communicate with her foster mom and let her know what she's needing. Any other, I know she's on lots of medications, but do we have any concerns regarding the medications that she takes?
No, there's no concerns. She had a med review on 8/19. There were some adjustments made, really to help her sleep more. And from what I was told by the worker, that seems to be doing better for her.
Okay. And she's now living pretty close to her brother Ozzy. Does she get to see him?
Yes, Your Honor. There are some face-to-face visits where Ozzy's foster mom takes him to Haley. So those are happening, and it sounds like she really enjoys those visits.
Good deal. Okay. Is this foster mom willing to be a long-term placement for Haley?
Not at this time. I think we've just given her some time to kind of adjust to Haley. Again, it was really hard at the beginning, and I really appreciate how hard she's held on to Haley and really worked with her. So I think that as more time goes by and it's getting better, we might be able to have a different conversation with her about it. Right? She is long-term, just not permanent.
Okay. Okay. She, like I said, is 16 today. So we got a couple of years with Haley. And then what are we planning as far as there's a long-term plan for Haley, especially after she turns 18 and beyond?
So the plan for Haley would be, if we can't find her a long-term like foster home, permanent foster home, we would look into some like behavior facilities that would meet her needs
Like
to help her.
HCS home?
Yes, ma'am. She is going to need that long-term help after 18. So that would be our next step if we can't find her a permanent home.
Awesome. Anything to add? It looks like you folks have done some CFE meetings and have identified some relatives. Tell me about that. Is our Casa on here?
Yes, Lena is on. Lena, is your volume working? She may be having trouble with her volume. And Judge, we have accessed CFE in the past for her, but as of right now, Ozzy and his placement are only the only stable family members that we have located for her. And like Samantha said, Ozzy's placement and Haley's foster home, they could conduct visits with them in person and virtually so that they are able to communicate with each other.
Good. Okay, does anybody else have anything else on Haley? Okay, we'll have another review hearing January the 12th at 9. All right, thank
McCluskey, representing the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Jordan Billions and Supervisor Jasmine Devereux.
April Setzer Casa. Judge, I don't, the advocate is on, but I don't think you can hear her because I see she's unmuted.
Okay. All right, Haley is in the same foster home that she's been in for about a year now, is that right?
Yes, Judge, that is correct. She's still doing well in this placement. She's become very bonded and very close with all the workers there. And for the most of the time, she is nonverbal, but they've become to understand a lot of her tendencies and what she wants to go towards to regulate herself and how she communicates. She also does have a basic understanding of some signs and some sign language, so she can voice some of the things that she does want to go do or wants to eat or things like that. But outside of that, she's doing well. She's still in the same school. She's has all the medications up to date. Her medical and dental are also up to date. But there was an incident on September 17th, where she was admitted to the Children's Medical Hospital due to having a decrease in her weight. And they weren't too sure why, but they wanted to keep her in there for a while, and they still couldn't figure out what was going on, but they were maybe figuring out that it was possibly due to her medication. So they just had her on some high caloric intake while she was in the hospital, and whenever she got her weight back up, they discharged her. So now she's taking 2 Pediasure a day to make sure that she maintains that weight.
Okay. We've had GI and those sorts of medical concerns with Haley for some time, is that right?
Correct, Judge, off and on.
Okay. Any other additional medical issues besides the GI issues that we've had?
No, Judge.
Okay. And she still has some aggressive behaviors? Has that gotten
She does. She does, Judge. She's still having some behaviors, not as many in the home. There are some incidents that still occur in the home, but most of the behaviors are at school. Whenever her placement or and the staff that understand her a lot better aren't there, that's when she becomes a lot more unregulated and a little more distempered.
Okay, let's talk about school. She's in the 10th grade?
Yes, Judge.
Tell me about her schooling. Is it like a one-on-one program? Are we in a public school? What do we do about school?
It's in a public school, but it's in a more condensed classroom with other children that are with her 504 program and special education needs. So it's not one-on-one per se, but it is a lot more personal than the others, the classrooms in the public school.
Okay. Is there anything fun that we're getting to do? Either at placement or school or outings or anything?
They do like to try and take her to go to outings. They like to go to the pool. They'll go to the park with all their children. And I mean, they try to do their best to just do normal things that they can with all the kiddos there in their placement. But I do know Haley does like to swim, and she does like to go to the pool. She does like to go in the backyard a lot with the other children and sit on a bike that's in the backyard and just kind of hang out and watch the other children there.
Okay. What is our overall plan for Haley? She's going to be 17 in September. What are we looking at as far as permanency for Haley?
At the time, placement is not up for the idea of adoption with Haley, but at the moment she is still on payer to try and look for any potential adoptive home that would be willing to adopt Haley. But at this time, the current goal is to continue with the DFPS conservatorship as a backup if we can't find a home.
Okay. Perhaps we should be maybe looking at an HCS home or something like that after she turns 18. At least to start thinking along those lines at this point and seeing what we need to do to qualify for one of those.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, Casa?
Sorry, Judge. I couldn't get my mouse to move. I'm covering for Zaina, so it's my understanding that there are no concerns and that Haley is doing well in placement. She did mention that placement has said they are willing to be a long-term placement, but hadn't mentioned any adoption to her. So that is the only update that I have.
Okay. Certainly glad the placement's willing to keep her long-term. That's good news. Okay, I will set another review hearing for Haley, May the 11th at 9.
Brandy McCluskey, on behalf of the department, also present in the virtual courtroom, is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Destiny Schwartz.
Matt Morrow, training for the child, present ready.
Okay, tell me about Monica, still with her aunt.
Yes, Your Honor. I was able to meet Monica for the first time last week. She is such a happy-going child. She is very playful. She is starting to talk more, although she is still one. Her words aren't clear, but they're understandable to a point. She likes to sing and dance. She was able to show me some of her dance moves. Overall, she is doing very well. She's eating good and not a picky eater. She's sleeping good. She is not attending daycare at this time. She's staying home with her aunt. She has officially graduated from all of her ECI services and is not in any services at this time. She has been discharged from all of her specialty doctors. So she is only seeing her PCP and her dentist. So that is great news. She's not on any medications at this time. No concerns with cardiology as well. Overall, she's doing very well.
Okay, very good. And this aunt, it's a great aunt actually, and she plans to adopt Monica.
That's not her plan at this time. She is a little bit older and has some recent health conditions. So she is wanting her daughter, I believe it's Monica's cousin, to take placement of Monica. Her name's Jessica. There is a home study that was completed. I do not believe it was approved for Jessica due to some concerns like no driver's license. Jessica has worked on getting a driver's license, and she's working with NYAP to get licensed to adopt her. And then once she gets licensed, we plan on moving Monica.
Okay, Mr. Morrow.
I think additional to add to that, Judge, I was hoping that the gradient was going to be an adopted place, but I'm guessing that's not going to happen now, unfortunately.
Okay. I would say let's maintain the current placement and give Mr. Morrow 10 days notice if we plan to move Monica. And if we need a hearing, Mr. Morrow, let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I will set another review hearing September the 8th at 9. Parties identified.
Brandy McCluskey, representing the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Destiny Schwartz and Supervisor Jasmine Devereaux.
Matt Morrow, attorney, guardian ad litem, present ready, Your Honor.
All right, tell me about little Monica. She's still with her aunt?
No, Your Honor, we recently moved her to Jessica Riva's home. That is Aurelia's daughter. She is a long-term placement option. We moved her on the 25th of last month. She has done extremely well since being placed there. Jessica was able to visit her frequently while she was with Aurelia, so it's like home to her. Overall, she is doing very well. She's in her independent stage and sassy stage, getting into her own personality. She absolutely loves water, swimming, bath time, and dancing. Anytime music is on, she's always wanting to dance. She's not currently in daycare. We're working on getting that set up for Jessica. But in the meantime, Aurelia is caring for her. So she does have that familiarity. She is not in any services at this time, not seeing any special doctors, overall healthy, and not on any medications. We do have HESEG and redaction back for her, and we're working on getting Jessica licensed with NYAP. There was a little bit of an issue with all the change in people at NYAP, so we're working on getting that set back up.
Okay, does Miss Reba have an attorney for her adoption yet?
Not yet.
All right, Mr. Morrow, any concerns regarding Monica?
No, ma'am.
I think the report indicated some sort of heart issue that maybe not be a big concern, but is that right? Are we over that heart concern?
Yes, Your Honor, she did have that heart issue whenever she was younger. When she turned a year old, she was able to stop her medication and has been successfully discharged from the cardiologist.
Good deal. Okay, do we see any barriers at all with the adoption with Miss Reba?
No, Your Honor.
Great. Okay, I'll set another review hearing on Monica, January the 12th.
Brandy McCluskey on behalf of the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Amanda Lee.
Bill Wells, attorney ad litem.
Okay, Miss Lee, tell me about Mariah. Looks like we moved her to a new foster home in April.
Yes, ma'am. She has been doing pretty well. She's wanted a foster home for a long time, and now we have that. She's had quite a few things happen since our last hearing, and we've got some behavioral concerns in school. She's able to start a new school, and we're kind of in the point where we're not really wanting to go. She would rather do online school, but her and her caseworker, like myself and her foster placement, have just tried to have communication and help her understand like why we need to go, and hopefully arrange a goal. We can attend for a certain amount of time, and we can work our way up to that. She seems to be doing well in placement and really does enjoy having a foster home.
Okay, she's in the 10th grade?
Yes, Your Honor. She is in the 10th grade. She will actually need to be held back a year due to just not attending, missing too much school, and things of that nature. So that's the plan that we're trying to currently work on, as well as maybe possibly getting some testing for her for some potential learning disabilities.
Okay. What about summer school? Is that a possibility, even if it's online?
That's something we're looking into. She did, the caregiver attended school meeting last week, and I believe they were just kind of talking about the options and so forth. They discussed potential online school for the fall, but it would all depend on how we take attending school and learning and actually doing the curriculum. So.
Okay. Medically, how is she doing? Any sort of physical or health problems?
She had an incident where that happened back in February, and law enforcement were called. Reports were made due to assault of that nature, and we did have a post-eviction from that, but she's been treated, and now we're working towards helping her understand what long-term looks like. But other than that, she does not have any medical or dental issues, and she's all current on everything.
On lots of medications, is that right? Do we have any concerns about her medications?
Yes, Your Honor. Not at this time. There's no concerns. She has a new psychiatrist. She's working well with her. The recommendation was to increase Abilify from 10 to 15 milligrams just to help with mood and processing. And then also another one of her medications more as a emergency medication if needed. But it seems like everything's starting to regulate out.
Okay. And we need some therapy.
Yes, Your Honor.
Big time.
I've talked to her quite a bit about that, and she's not really liking the idea of it. So I just kind of explained that sometimes we don't really necessarily have to go in and talk, but just being present and listening or helping her maybe learn some things that we could do for self-care or, things that can help us work through. But we do need to attend counseling and thinking probably maybe something incentive wise or something to help her understand that it's a normal thing and we'll work through it.
What does she like to do? Is there anything fun that she can do that we can use to motivate her?
Yes, Your Honor. She really wants to attend dance. And so that's something that I mentioned at the beginning of placement and something that I asked that, I really would appreciate them looking into program wise to give her something for herself and motivating.
Good. Is she doing PAL?
She does have a PAL worker, and I believe they were doing some kind of event, updating emails and things of that nature, but I do need to check with Mr. Watson to see if there's anything I can do from afar.
Okay. This foster home, is it not an adoptive or a long-term placement?
They are willing to keep her long-term. She does have, just from as many placements as she's had, she has this kind of, she just tends to, when she believes she's starting to get close to somebody, we do what we can to sabotage. And so we worked through that last week, and her caregiver explained to her, I have no reason to put in just discharge on you, and we're here to help you. They've been doing it for a long time and are very experienced. So they're all on the same page for as much as she needs for as long as she needs.
Good deal. Okay, Mr. Wells.
I have nothing to add. My concerns are just, the therapy and stuff like that. I think we're on the right track. She is doing better now, getting a little, evened out. So hopefully we see lots of improvement and get this a long-term kind of a thing,
Casa?
Yes, Kendall Roberts with CASA, and I agree with everything Amanda said. I think everyone's working really hard to kind of get her on a good path.
Okay. And I think I read in the report that she's not getting any contact with Eddie, and we're okay with that.
It's more so her reaching out to her biological mother that has been the issue. She wants, to have that normal teen phone time, but every time we're given a phone, we take advantage of that. But other than family, she does speak to her other siblings, and that's been okay.
Okay. So she does have contact with Eddie?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And we're okay with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, good. I think that's good for both Eddie. I had Eddie on my docket for a while also, so that's good. Okay. Anything else for Mariah?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. We'll set another review hearing September the 8th at 9. Thank you. The parties identified.
Brandy McCluskey, representing the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Paige Harmon and Supervisor Jasmine Devereaux.
Bill Wells, attorney ad litem.
Bill and Solis, CASA, covering for Kendall Roberts.
Okay, Ms. Harmon, it looks like we had a rough period. Tell me what's going on with Mariah.
Yes, Your Honor. We did have a little rough period at the end of her last placement, which ended on August 4th. She did have a brief stay in Sun Behavioral Houston, which is a mental health hospital, for cutting herself on her leg. She only stayed there for a few days, and then we were able to find her placement in another RTC in Houston, so she didn't have to travel too far. But since being placed in the new RTC, she seems to be doing well. Initially, she was obviously not very excited about it. She wanted to go back a couple placements. And I told her that just wasn't possible at this time. But she seems to have adjusted. She started school. She is in the 10th grade, so she was held back. She did complete summer school, but she attended summer school. She did not complete it, so she was not promoted to the 11th grade.
Okay, she gets some services in school to try to catch her up?
Yes, I believe so. I know she receives the 504 accommodations, which I believe it also involves like tutoring help and in-class help as well. I don't have the exact specifics on that, and I apologize for that, but I know she does receive in-school services.
Okay, any sort of medical issues, especially coming off of this self-harming incident?
None. No recent medical issues that have been reported. She does continue to take her medication for anxiety, depression, ADHD, but no issues with the medication has been reported to me by placement or by Mariah. She reports she takes them daily with no side effects.
Okay. Right, she did PAL?
Yes, she has completed the PAL program.
Okay, how are we coming on getting her a birth certificate and a social security card?
Yes, so it was officially requested. We have everything sent off to the Department of Health Vital Statistics down in Austin. So that has officially and finally been requested so that we can get her a state ID and we can get her a driver's license and she can start working if she wants to. I know she recently applied for like a dishwashing job at a restaurant, but I haven't heard back on how that came, especially because she doesn't have any form of ID.
Okay. What does she generally think about the new place? Is there anything fun for her there? Is she making friends? What does she think about it?
From what she's told me, that she's been getting along okay with the other girls. There's a couple girls that she doesn't get along. I've just told her, I was like, if you ever feel like, you're gonna spiral or you're wanting to, fight the other girl, because I know that's how it was at the previous placement too. Told her to go take a walk and then talk with the staff members she does really get along with and see if they can't set her up with like a quick therapy session, or even just venting with them can help as well. But she seems to like it okay. I think going to school helps.
Good. Is she in therapy?
Yes, she sees a weekly therapist through the placement.
Good. Okay, Mariah's going to be 17 next May. Is she thinking long term? What are we going to do after care, career wise? What are we thinking as far as a plan for Mariah?
I do still need to deeply get into that conversation with her. I know last time I spoke with her, she does still want to be like adopted and find a family, which we did. We have actually found a family that's interested in her through the Heart Gallery.
Great.
That I need to discuss with her. But I know that in the past she has stated she really just wants to be adopted by an African American family. This family is white, so I need to see if that's even something she's remotely interested in.
Does she have contact with her brother Eddie?
I know she did at the previous placement. I'm not sure if she has since being moved. If that's something she wants to have, I will set that up as soon as possible.
Great. And certainly if it's okay with Eddie's placement, I don't want to disrupt that. So let's make sure that everybody's on board with that before we start that up again. Casa?
Yes.
Any concerns regarding Mariah that we haven't talked about?
Just the concerns about her education. I feel that it needs to be a major focus, especially given her age. Like you said, she's 16. And looking at her report cards, I think it's pretty incredible what she's able to do. And in the short time that I've been with her, she's been at 3 different schools, excuse me, and that she's able to pass some of the classes, even though she had to repeat the grades. So just major concerns for her education.
Okay, let's make sure that we have ongoing ARDs, Ms. Harmon, and make sure all the other items are invited and that the services she needs are getting there. Mr. Wells, any additional concerns?
No additional concerns, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, hopefully we have a visit with Mariah and hopefully she's on board with this family that is interested in her. I think that'd be a great idea for her. Okay, I will set another review hearing January the 12th at 9. Thank y'all. Let me have the parties identified.
Brandy McCluskey, representing the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Lindsay LeFave and Supervisor Jasmine Devereaux.
Bill Wells, attorney ad litem.
Kendall Roberts, Casa.
Jennifer Nesbitt, Casa.
Okay, let's talk about Mariah. It looks like we moved to a new RTC in Houston.
Yes, she moved to a new RTC. She's settling in, but is having a few behaviors. They're more defiant. She doesn't listen to redirection, struggling with profanity, and engaging in inappropriate relationships with younger residents there. We're to the point where they want to discharge, but we do have a meeting this week on Wednesday to kind of help her and guide her to be more successful in that placement.
Okay, we'll circle back to all of that here in just a bit, but let's talk about her health. Any sort of medical concerns?
No medical concerns. She recently had a medical appointment on January 2nd, and she's up to date. Her medication, she's on depression and ADHD medication, and she had a med review on December 8th.
Okay. And school-wise, she's in the 10th grade. We've changed schools a bunch of times and probably a little bit behind because of that.
Yes, there have not been any issues with school. She is attending and participating.
I think I read in one of the reports that she has some discipline issues and some truancy issues at school as well. Is that right?
I believe so, yes, but for this new replacement, I have not had that yet.
Okay. Okay, I'm assuming that we're in therapy. What kind of therapy are we doing at this facility?
We're doing individual and group therapy for her.
Do we know if it's trauma-based? Do we know what kind of therapy they do?
I believe it's trauma-based, but I'm not sure. I have to double check on that.
Let's talk about that in the meeting that you have coming up with the placement. See what specifically, what kind of therapy they're offering for Mariah. Is she doing PAL?
Yeah, she is doing PAL, and I also invited them to the Wednesday's meeting, so we can further discuss PAL there as well.
Okay. Does she have all of her documents that she needs? Her birth certificate, social security, working on her driver's license? Tell me what we know about the documents.
We're working on the birth certificate. I believe we have to do a name change from her adopted to her previous to adoption. So we're working on that right now.
Okay, do we have a placement option in case this one blows?
No, we don't have a placement option. They haven't put a discharge notice yet. So we're gonna reassess that after Wednesday's meeting to see where we're at with placement.
Okay, what is this facility doing about these behaviors? How do they address them?
They're redirecting. They're also taking away privileges that she has. And just trying to work with her in a positive way.
Mr. Wells?
I think we covered most of the stuff that we needed to cover. I'm just concerned that, every time she goes to a different RTC and they have problems, they just discharge her and send her to another one. And I'm not sure if these placement options are actually addressing the issues that we want them to address when it comes to our kids.
Asa?
Yes, some of the issues we'd like to address are that we are aware of a safety plan that's been initiated through placement due to Mariah having inappropriate interactions with other children in placement.
So we've separated her. Is that what they're doing? They've separated her from younger peers? Or maybe one-on-one supervision, or how are they addressing that safety concern with Mariah and the other kids?
Well, we would like more information on that and exactly how that's being conducted. Have more information on that, but a safety plan is in place. And so I believe it's separation in her bunk bed being separate in the same room, but she only has one part of that bed and no other children on that side. That sort of thing is one of the details that we heard.
Ms.
I know
LaFave,
she's
at this meeting, Ms. LaFave, let's make sure that if it's at all possible to put her in her own room at this place or to have some more one-on-one supervision. I'm certainly worried about Mariah, but I'm also worried about the other kids that we have in care and want to make sure Mariah is safe and the other kids are safe. So let's talk about a much more strict safety plan than just separating them in the bed.
Yes, we will. I'll include that to the stuff that we want to discuss. But I also wanted to add that I did talk to the director and they said they're not giving up on Mariah yet, but they do want to be preventive and trying to resolve some of the issues that they're having.
Okay. Casa, I cut you off. I'm sorry. Anything else?
Yes, just to reemphasize the importance on her paperwork, which has already been brought up, but how important that is for her future and employment and going forward. And I know it's a very complicated issue with her name and that sort of thing. And then also Mariah has expressed her interest in the SIL program and wanting to plan for her future. She's thinking about that. She said last week that she is on track for graduating next year is what she said. So I don't know if that's the 2027 or the next school year, but she's still planning on staying on track for graduation and really planning for her future. She's getting older, and so her interest in the SIL program and helping her with the skills.
let's talk to the PAL worker about researching the different SIL options for her and going through all that with her and how to apply and how she qualifies and make sure she understands what she needs to do to get into that.
Yes.
Okay. Salary, but perhaps we're looking at
as far as
aging out with
permanency,
Mariah. She is still on tear in the heart.
She is still on tear, and I hope she doesn't age out. But yes, we'll discuss all the stuff PAL can provide after if she does age out.
Okay. Does Mariah get contact with her brother Eddie?
I have to put him on his. She has several people on her contact list, and I haven't. I'm working on sending the placement a new contact list from her previous placement.
Okay. Anything else on Mariah? All right, we'll have another permanency review hearing May the 11th at 9. Let me have the parties identified. Thank y'all.
Brandy McCluskey on behalf of the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is Destiny Schwartz, St. Francis Permanency Specialist.
Emily Huber, attorney ad litem for the child.
All right, tell me about Jasmine. It looks like we went to a new RTC.
Yes, she is currently placed at Tomorrow's Future RTC. So far, she has been doing very well in the placement. Overall, she's a happy kid. I was able to talk to her on Friday, and she appears to be doing very well. She was sick with flu the previous week, but since then she recovered and was back to her happy self. She does like to journal and listen to music. She is in the 11th grade. Once she finishes school, she's either wanting to do the police academy or go to school for juvenile justice. She is struggling a little bit in school. She says that the classes are getting harder. So she's either wanting to do like an online school to make up those courses so she can graduate next year, or she's just wanting to finish out school in an online setting. She is finally in therapy with Karen Huber. She's only had one session so far, but she said it was a good session, and so far she likes Karen. She is on medications at this time. She is on buspirone, Abilify, clonidine, and then medications for acne. She's no longer on birth control. She reports that she has no side effects with those medications. She has completed her PAL program. Overall, she's doing well, though.
Okay, the current placement, is it a little bit more secure than her previous placement? It looks like the report indicated she ran a few times.
Yes, Your Honor, it's a more secure placement.
Okay, and she's okay with that?
Ultimately, she wants to have a home study completed on her boyfriend's parents so she can move in there. But she said other than that, she's fine where she's at.
Okay, and it looks like from the report that the parents are still participating in services?
They're not participating in services. They're maintaining contact with St. Francis, but that's about all.
Or do they have contact with Jasmine?
They do not. Jasmine has not had any visits with either her parents or her siblings.
Okay. Jasmine's going to be 18 before we're back here. What is her plan when she turns 18?
She said ultimately she wants to go live with her boyfriend, Michael, or she would like to enter the SIL program.
Okay. Certainly hope that we lean towards the SIL program. I think that would be a better situation.
Absolutely.
Huber?
I have nothing really to add. I just am also concerned that she's about to be 18, just to make sure she is set up with a plan and she's got everything she needs to succeed in life if she doesn't plan to continue in care.
Yeah, Ms. Schwartz, I would say if she's really interested in trying to graduate early, I'm okay with that online program. If we can get that set up for her and get her going to school through the summer, would like to get her as close to graduation as possible before her 18th birthday, because then I'm really worried what we'll be able to do with her after that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you think that she would be willing to do summer school online?
She expressed to me that she was. So I can talk to her and talk to the placement and see if we can get a program set up where we can get her as close to graduation by her 18th birthday.
Do we think that she will pass the 11th grade this semester?
If we can get some tutoring in place with the placement, I think that there is a chance that she will pass.
Good. Okay, anything else with Jasmine? Let's see what we can find in terms of SIL placements and see if we can knock her socks off with the ability to go to a SIL and somewhere in the area where she is and see if she likes it. Let's try to sell her on that as soon as possible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll set a services review hearing for Jasmine, September the 8th at
on
9.
behalf of the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist, Heather Eubanks.
Lindsay Murray on behalf of the child.
Okay, tell me what we know about Britney.
Your Honor, I apologize. My video is telling me that it can't pull up. It's like giving me an error. I apologize.
That's okay.
I have spoken to Britney a few times via text message and once over the phone since she's been in trial independence. She reports that she is pregnant. She is trying to go back to school. She says that she has some of her documents. And then when I ask her again, she tells me she doesn't. And so she kind of goes back and forth on what she does and doesn't have. She's reported to me that her ex-boyfriend has nudes of her that he is sharing. I've told her to share that with the police, to call the police, because that is a crime. She says that they're revenge nudes. She is currently still living with the aunt, I believe is what she told me. She kind of just pops in here and there. She said that she's not working, but she is looking for a job and that she is interested in going back to school. I have shared with her all of the benefits that Medicaid is able to provide to her for over 18 until she's 25 years old. There was a pamphlet that was sent out to us. I screenshotted it and sent it to her via text message. She said thank you. I have also encouraged her to make sure that she makes all of those annual appointments because they get gift cards for those from like Walmart or Amazon. And then I've also encouraged her to reach out for counseling if she needs.
Is she getting prenatal care?
She says that she is, yes, Your Honor.
Do we know anything about the aunt? Is that a good situation?
No, Your Honor. Her previous caseworker, who she's really close to, Samantha, says that that's probably the best place for her is the aunt that she's with at this time. She does still visit with Samantha from time to time here and there, and then Samantha will give me an update on her. That's how I actually knew she was pregnant and asked her, "Hey, are you pregnant?" So I don't know that she would have voluntarily offered that information. So I'm thankful that Samantha was able to share that with us so that we could express to her how important prenatal care is.
I would say let's get our documents that we have. Let's get her another copy.
Yes, ma'am.
Did she graduate from high school?
No, Your Honor.
So that's when you say she wants to go back to school. She wants to go back to school, back to high school is what you're saying?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
Okay. Ms. Murray?
Your Honor, at this time, I have nothing to add at this point. I wish the best for Britney and I hope that she gets through this. I hope she goes back to school and gets the prenatal care. I think we're all here if she needs anything, but Britney, I don't know what else that we can help her with at this point, Judge.
Ms. Eubanks, does she have a plan as far as caring for the baby? Does she have a job in mind or?
She says that she's interested in working, but that she wants to wait until after the baby is born.
Okay. Is she interested at all in coming back into care, a civil placement, or
No, Your
especially
Honor, I
one of
have
these?
asked her several times for the help that we are able to give her, and she's not interested.
Especially if we have one of these facilities available that she could come with her baby and get help from the department.
Yes, ma'am. That is a conversation that we have had. I've let her know that there is places for her to come with her baby and her baby not be in care. I've expressed that to her because I think that's her biggest concern, is that her child would be removed from her, and she still says that she's not interested.
That's too bad. All right, I will set another services review hearing for Britney, September the 8th at 9. Identified. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Randy McCluskey on behalf of the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Cristobal Salinas.
Bill Wells, attorney ad litem.
Katie Roberts, CASA.
Okay, tell me about Asher. He's still in an adoptive home in California?
Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, he is. Adoptive home in California. He is doing well. He's good with his health. No issues with his health. He's attending individual therapy, medications. He still takes medication for anxiety and depression. As far as school, he said he's had a little rough at times, but he's tolerable with the school. And his GPA is 3.2, so he's happy about that. He's involved in the D&D club at the library, and things he likes to do for fun is artwork and video games, hanging out with friends, exploring California and going to the beach. His main concern right now is just when he can be adopted. So we're working on that, on the adoption process. We're almost done. We're just about completed everything's been done in HISIC, redaction, placement paperwork, and we're just waiting for the attorney to file the petition to adopt, and we should be good to go.
Okay, he needs braces. What are we doing to try to get him resources for braces?
I'll have to look into that, Your Honor. I'm not aware as far as the braces, but I'll check with the placement on that.
Okay, tell me about this incident that we had in March with the psych hospital stay. What happened? Did I misread a report? Casa, was that on your report?
Yes, Judge, I believe it was. I can speak to it, but I also wanted to let you know, Judge, I do believe Asher's placement is in the Zoom courtroom with us, Aiden and Tyler Wallace.
Yes, sorry, I wasn't sure when we were supposed to speak up. I apologize. We're here as well.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make you aware, Judge. But to the incident in March, it's Casa's understanding that Asher was under some stress at school with some friend situation going on. And he did take a handful of medications. He was treated by medical professionals and went to a psychiatric hospital stay about a week, I believe. But Asher is doing well. He has reported that he understands the repercussions of what he had done and things like that. But that's all I could speak to, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Wells?
I have nothing to add, Your Honor. I don't have any concerns. I just hoping they get this adoption done soon, and everything looks like it's going that way. So I think we're on the right track.
Okay. The Wallace family, do you guys have anything to add as far as a report on Asher?
Not much. I am disappointed that it took me making a complaint to the State Department of Texas for St. Francis to actually file the ICPC motion. They said they had filed over a year ago. Now that they've done that, it seems like everything is working. Everything is proceeding. We're in contact with an attorney that they recommended for our side, and we haven't gotten an update from them, but we haven't had concerns with Asher. We're all just a bit anxious because it's been a 2-year placement on what was supposed to be a 6-month adoption.
Okay. Look forward to get this adoption done just like the rest of you, but I will set another review hearing for Asher September the 8th at 9. Let me have the parties identified.
Leah
All right,
Ann
thank
Kidd
y'all.
with the Lubbock County
We'll be
District
adjourned.
Attorney's Office representing the department. With me today are Permanency Specialist Shanika White, Supervisor Jasmine Devereaux, and we also have the Extended Care Specialist Heather Eubanks and her supervisor. We're present and ready.
Lindsay Maryia on behalf of the mother and president ready.
Matt Morrow, attorney for the respondent father, President Ray, you're my clients, present in the courtroom.
Stephanie Anderson Casa.
Okay, let's start with Jonathan. Jonathan is 18 and in trial independence. Tell me about our contact with Jonathan and what he's up to.
Yes, Your Honor, I have not had any contact with Jonathan since before Christmas. I know that his girlfriend was pregnant. I asked him if he would be willing to move into the Passages program because they have a family unit, and they would be willing to take the mother as well. He told me he would think about it and possibly get back to me after the baby was born. I have not had any contact with him since then. I know I have contact with someone that's at the school where his family members were going, and she says that he is not enrolled at the same school. So that's all I can tell you on Jonathan. I have no other information. I do know that he possibly was working or going to school because he did receive one of his transitional living allowance checks from his PAL worker.
Okay, anybody involved in the case know where Jonathan might be or any contact information for him so we can get him some help? Mr. Rosales, have you had any contact with Jonathan?
At Sonida's house. That's where he's staying. Sonida Garcia.
I'm having a hard time hearing him.
I believe he said at Sonida Garcia's home.
Okay. Well, Mr. Morrow, can you get with your client and get whatever contact information he has for the Garcia home or?
Yes, ma'am, I can do that.
Okay. Mr. Rosales, tell us what you know about him. Where is he living and how's he doing?
I know that he's not working. He's trying to find a job. He just had a baby last month or in March. The ending of March. I have not had no contact with him, but my grandmother talks to him every now and then because he goes over there for food and stuff like that for the family, and my grandma helps him out. So I haven't had no kind of contact because I've been in SEG and stuff. So I know he had a phone on, and I had his phone number, and I talked to him about a month after I came to court, and I found out a little bit about him, but his phone's already off now. It's turned off, so I had no contact with him. I just had contact with my grandmother, and she's the one telling me about him, about how he's doing and stuff. But I know that he's trying to find a job, and he can't find a job in Brownfield. But I don't even think he has his ID or anything to get working with. So.
Okay, if you have contact with him, tell him to call his caseworker, Heather Eubanks, and she can help him with documents that he may need to get to work. She can help him with all sorts of resources to help him try to find a job, placement, things for that baby. There's so many resources that he can be tapping into, so much help that he can be getting. So if he calls you, if you have any contact with him, please get him in touch with Heather Eubanks, and Mr. Morrow will get you her information, okay? Okay, let's talk about Justin. Where is Justin? And tell me how Justin is doing.
So, Your Honor, we did move Justin back from Houston to Lubbock to stay with his maternal aunt, Gracie. That didn't last very long. She ended up not having her utilities on, her electricity was cut off, there was no food. So talking with Justin and Patricia, Justin informed us that if he was not placed with his mom or left for Gracie, he was going to run. So we staffed with our director and we got Justin moved back with Patricia. Since being with Patricia, he's done good overall. He's in school. We have him set up with a counselor. He did run on May the 5th because Patricia wouldn't take him to Brownfield. He did come back the following day. He says he was not on drugs or anything. But other than that, he's doing better with Patricia now.
Health-wise, how was Justin doing? Any sort of medical concerns?
He does have ADHD and bipolar. So I know Patricia has him set up with a doctor's to get him reevaluated for his medicine. He will be seeing Mr. Gatlin for direct therapy and individual counseling. And that's being set up this week.
What about school? Does she have him enrolled?
He is in school. Yes, Your Honor. He's in the 10th grade. Between Gracie and being with Patricia, he did skip 2 days. But he knows the severity of going to school, and we've talked about what school means, and he needs to get his diploma so he can get, a good job and stuff. So he sounds like he wants to do better.
Is he going to pass the 10th grade this semester?
Probably not. He will have to do summer school.
Is he willing to do summer school?
Right now, it's up in the air. Yes, he does, and no, he doesn't. So I'm working on that.
Is there anything fun for this summer that we can get set up for him so he can have something to enjoy?
He likes basketball. So I told him that we can try to find him a basketball camp.
Okay. Tell me about Ms. Talamontes' progress and services.
So she is now re-engaged. She did drug test. It was negative. She is enrolling back in parenting classes with family guidance. She's meeting with me. She's talking to me. We do have the release signed. She's working, so she's back re-engaged.
Okay. Casa, anything regarding Justin?
Sorry, Judge, I didn't have the recent information when I filed the report because right after I filed it, that's when everything happened. But Justin did have an ARD meeting on April 30th, and so they just kind of went over accommodations that he had. He should be a sophomore, of course, but he's considered a freshman due to his credits. They said that he will not get any credits this year, and they are recommending summer school for him. So he'll be considered a freshman next year, going into, I guess, his junior year, just because of due to lack of credits and attendance. And then they are talking about possibly doubling his on English and science classes, and so he can do some kind of credit recovery. But he was a part of that meeting, and I do feel that he felt very discouraged just hearing everything and overwhelmed. So I know Shanika's working on him, just encouraging him to continue to go to school, and hopefully we can encourage him to stay in school during the summer and get those credits. He did say that he wanted to be a welder, or like some type of salesperson, and he expressed working this summer. So I'm not sure if that could happen. But I know we want him to focus on school. And he did express that he likes playing basketball. So I think that would be good to get him into that. CASA, of course, recommends just him. I don't know if he was set up for a wellness check when he was at his aunt's, and his aunt's missed that. So I'm not sure if that was rescheduled, but just making sure that he's up to date on his medical, dental, and I'll get in touch with Shanika about like who he's seeing for therapy, and if possibly he needs any kind of drug therapy from his past history. I know that was said in the past, so I don't know. I haven't heard of any reports of him using or anything like that, so that's great. But just if he needs that support, we'd recommend that be addressed in therapy, of course. But I think right now he's fine with where he's at. So he's not, running or anything like that. And then, of course, Casa will meet with mom and him in the home more often and stuff. But everything right now seems to be going well, as can be. So that's all we have right now. Thank you.
Mr. Rosales, do you have anything to add as far as Justin?
I talked to my grandmother, and she said that he came back from my brother's house, and I guess my brother had bought him some clothes and shoes and stuff, and but I guess he was trying to get everything straight back with Patricia, so he was back with my ex. So that's all I know about it.
Miss Murray, anything on behalf of your client regarding Justin?
Not at this time, Judge.
Anything to add as far as the services she's participating in?
No, I'm excited that she's reengaged. I think that that this will be great for her and Justin, and I'm hoping that everything continues to go smoothly.
Okay, looks like we have a lot to focus on with both boys, especially Justin and his needs academically. So maybe the next time we're here in September, he will have made a lot of progress over the summer, hopefully. Okay, I'll set another permanency hearing and services hearing, September the 8th at 10. Thank y'all. Parties identified.
Thank you, Judge.
On behalf of the department, also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Destiny Schwartz.
Haley Long standing in for Katie Mason, attorney for Cali.
Okay, Ms. Schwartz, it looks like Cali is still with her grandparents and they're planning to adopt.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe we also have the grandfather in the virtual courtroom as well. Callie is doing very well in the home. She's very bonded to her grandparents at this time. She's still doing about the same, full of energy. It's pretty funny because at daycare, they say she's a completely different child. She's reserved and quiet, but at home, she is going 900 miles an hour, running around, talking. She is talking a lot more. Her speech is coming along, eating well, sleeping well. She appears to be on target developmentally, not in any services at this time. Overall, she's medically healthy, doesn't have any concerns at this time with medical. She's not on any daily medications. She's doing well. We have requested reduction in HESA, and the caregivers are still working with NYAP. I believe they only lack a few classes, health inspection, fire inspection, and TB test.
Okay. All of that sounds very good. Ms. Long, anything on behalf of Ms. Mason?
Nothing, Judge, just that Ms. Mason has no concerns with her or her placement. They're all doing really well.
Beautiful. Okay, I will set another review hearing September the 8th at 10. Let me have the parties identified.
Brandy McCluskey on behalf of the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Jennifer Contreras.
Lindsay Maryia, attorney for Linda.
McKenna Shelton, CASA.
Tiffany Hicks, CASA.
Bill Wells, attorney ad litem.
Okay, tell me about, let's start with Trinity. Trinity is with a great aunt and uncle in DeSoto. How is she doing?
Yes, Judge, she is doing great. She continues to thrive in this home. She's 12 years old. She attends the 6th grade. She's making all A's. She will promote to the 7th grade for the next school year. She participates in church activities. She sings for the church choir. She's involved in cheerleading, student council. There's no concerns with Trinity, Judge. She's doing very, very great, happy, healthy preteen. She's excited to have the opportunity for her aunt and uncle to adopt her soon.
Hey, very good. Ms. Murray, any concerns regarding Trinity?
Not at this time, Judge.
Casa, concerns regarding Trinity?
No concerns, Your Honor. Trinity is a very bright young girl who is wise beyond her years. And yeah, we are just looking forward to adoption being consummated for her and her current placement.
All right, very good. And Linda is with an aunt and Tyler, is that right?
That is correct, Judge. Yes. She's 11. She is in the 5th grade. She'll promote to the 6th grade. She's also doing very well in school, making mostly A's and B's. She's overall happy, healthy, full of energy. She participates in church activities, dance, choir. She had a volleyball tournament over the weekend. I believe they got 3rd place, and she had a blast. She is healthy. She does take medications for depression. She takes them as prescribed. Overall, she's doing very, very well, and she too is very excited to be adopted by her Aunt Robin.
Okay, does she get contact with her sisters?
Right now they're having phone contact.
How does
And that's
that
pretty sporadic.
sporadic phone contact with the sisters?
With her sisters, yes, here in Lubbock. Her 16-year-old sister, Kiki, the girls report that they're able to call her on her phone, and they'll FaceTime, and they'll be able to talk to 6-year-old Autumn, yes.
Okay. Ms. Murray, concerns regarding Linda?
Not at this time, Judge.
Casa?
No concerns, Your Honor, just that she continued participating in individual counseling as well as Trinity. But yeah, and then Robin Tillman continue working towards licensing so that adoption can be consummated for her as well. But no concerns.
Okay. I'm going to set another review hearing for Linda and Trinity September the 8th at 10. Tell me what we're doing with Autumn. This hearing didn't pertain to Autumn. Autumn is back with Grandma. I don't even have another hearing set for Autumn, so what is the plan?
I thought they dismissed out, Judge.
Yeah, Judge, I'm pretty sure we dismissed out. I was on the call anyway, so
That is correct, Your Honor.
yeah.
Yes, Judge, we dismissed out of Autumn's case.
Okay, I'm not sure if I signed that, so if it got done, it didn't get told to me, so I will update my paperwork on Autumn. Okay, anything else as far as Linda and Trinity, though?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, next hearing will be September the 8th at 10. Thank y'all. We'll be adjourned.
Randy McCluskey on behalf of the
Thank you,
department.
Judge.
Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Shanika White.
Kaylee Long standing in for Katie Mason, attorney for Kenji.
Okay, Kenji is with his grandparents, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, he's still with grandparents. Kenji is actually doing much better than he has in a very long time. School-wise, he's doing really well. There's minimal behavior outbursts at school. When he does, they are able to handle that within the classroom versus taking him out of the classroom. He does get therapy, so he's learning those coping skills so he can apply those when he gets angry and just sad. So he's doing very well with those. At home, Mr. Johnson reported there's like almost no behaviors at all. So he is doing very well. He's still on medication for ADHD. They finally got the dosage correct. So with that, and then he does see 2 counselors. So we're thinking that with a mixture of those 3 things that we finally found a rhythm for Kenji. He is happy. He's healthy medically. He's vibrant. He likes on his tablet. This summer they're supposed to go to San Antonio, so he's excited about that trip. He's doing very well.
Okay, sounds like everything is really evened out for him. That's good.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Long, does Miss Mason have any concerns regarding Kenji?
Yes, Judge, and she did send the link to grandfather Charles Johnson. I'm not sure if he's here, but her biggest concern is that the grandparents need adoption subsidies to care for Kenji long term. They don't think that they can afford to care for him without the financial assistance, and they're getting frustrated with the licensing process. They said that no one has reached out to them about the next steps of getting licensed in about a month now. So Ms. Mason is requesting that a family support worker or the caseworker help out with that process.
All right, Ms. White, let's get with the grandparents today and make sure they know what the next steps are. And let's also maybe refer our various adoption attorneys so that they can get somebody hired to help them on that end also. Ms. White, what do we know about their process and the status of the adoption?
So they did talk with Terry Morganson for the adoption attorney. They are going through NYAP. With the previous CPS history and background history, they had to get a risk assessment completed. So that was finally completed and submitted by DFPS. So now we're just waiting on them to tell us what's next.
Waiting on who to tell you what's next?
Clara from NYAP, who did their risk assessment.
Okay. Ms. Long, maybe Ms. Mason and Ms. Morgerson can get together and see how we can help the grandparents get things going.
Thank you, Judge. I'll let her know.
Okay, I will set another review hearing September the 8th at 10.
Thank you. On behalf of the department, also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist, Shanika White.
Bill Wells, attorney ad litem.
Katie Roberts, CASA.
Catherine Lambert, CASA.
Okay, these kids are in the same foster home?
Yes, Your Honor. Same foster home. We'll start with Xavier. He's doing good. He's passing all his classes. There's been no trouble at school, minimal behaviors at home. They're still taking regular meds for ADHD and mood disorder. He gets skills therapy, individual therapy. So he's learning the coping skills. This summer, he does plan on playing in an AAU basketball league. So he's excited about that. Xavier is doing good as well. Limited trouble, no new medical. Sports, he likes basketball, football, track. He doesn't know if he's going to do the league with Xavier because he's into girls now. So he talks about going gaming at arcades. Maryia is doing good. She's on the AB honor roll. She's bright. She's bubbly. No new medical. As far as behaviors, every so often she'll lie or pick fights with her brothers, but that's normal sibling rivalry. Other than that, kids are doing very well.
Okay, they still visit with their grandmother?
They have not had an in-person visit with Ms. Hernandez since last year. I want to say it was September of last year. She is still doing her monthly calls with Mr. Gatlin and the kids. She has not reached out to schedule an in-person visit at all. And I was able, sorry, go ahead.
How did the calls with Gatlin go?
So I did sit on one of their calls, and the kids weren't very interested in talking with Bertha. They were more interested in talking to each other, playing around. So it was not very engaging, like at all.
Mr. Wells?
I have nothing to add, Your Honor.
Casa?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, CASA agrees with Ms. White. In a lot of ways, they're doing really well. We've had good contact with the school counselor, and he does a lot of like behavior coaching with both boys just to help them think about their choices. But Xavier has had more kind of outbursts and things. He was caught with a vape cartridge at school and had several days of behavior punishment for that. And CASA has questions, I think, about placement, sincerity maybe about adopting. Just there's been a lot of different excuses kind of raised as to why not to do it now. Concerns with grandma, concerns about Xavier's behavior. She also said she didn't want to adopt because they might be moving and selling the house, and she didn't want the timing to overlap with that. And so we're just not sure with all the different excuses about how much she intends to follow through with that.
Ms. White, what is the permanency plan?
So I did speak with placement, and there was a lot of back and forth on what they wanted. So right now their current issue is their agency that they were with. They had to move agencies, so now they're on a provisional license until they can get fully licensed, which is going to be 6 months. We did talk about adopting all three because splitting them is not going to be in the best interest. So they know that it's either all three or we're going to have to find a permanent placement. Miss Adams does not want the kids moved. So she did tell me that once they can get fully licensed with this agency, that they will go forward with adoption of all three kids.
Okay, let's get a recommendation from Mr. Gatlin about whether or not these therapeutic phone calls with grandmother are continue to be in the best interest of the children. And if he says that it's not working, or if he says it's not in the best interest, let's stop it.
Okay.
And maybe that will help the placement in their own minds know that this is a permanent placement as far as the court's concerned, and that the ball's in their court.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge, may I also add one additional thing? The children have been in contact with what they call Aunt Judy, who we have been searching for a while. So this is Linda and Craig Cunningham, their previous placement. This is their relative. And so the children have been in contact with Linda and Craig, and it was a great, I know Shanika can probably talk about it a little bit more. She facilitated it, but they had contact. It was great. The children enjoyed it greatly. The Cunninghams would like to continue contact. They all really enjoyed seeing each other. And there is a plan for the children to be in contact with Judy. There was a situation where placement is not really interested right now in facilitating contact between the children and the Cunninghams and Aunt Judy. But Shanique, the hope is that eventually placement would be willing to do this, but she's just not right now.
Okay, let's talk to Mr. Gatlin about all of that too, and see if he has a recommendation about whether or not to force this contact or whether or not to hold off on it in order to get the placement to be permanent.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And I will follow Mr. Gatlin's recommendations on all that. Okay. I will set another review hearing September the 8th at 10. Let me have the parties identified. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Randy McCluskey on behalf of the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Jordan Billions.
Okay, Mr. Billions, tell me about Jesse. Same foster home, and he still has this diagnosis of autism. Is that right?
Yes, Judge, that's correct. And he continues to do well in his placement with his foster dad. Last I spoke with him, I mean, things are going great. There was one incident at school last month on the 16th where a child hit him in PE class, and he turned around and hit the kid back and started a fight. But that was being addressed, and the correct actions being done to that. But aside for that, in the home, he's doing really well. His foster dad started fostering another child that's younger than Jesse, and both of them have a very good kind of like brother relationship with each other, and Jesse's really enjoying that. He's really enjoying getting to be like the big brother kind of person with him. He's getting all of his medical checkups on time and in order. Everything is up to par with him. In school, he's doing well. He's doing everything that's required in his plan.
Okay, he's in the 6th grade.
Yes, Judge.
Gets some services, but is he on target academically?
He is on target. Yes, Judge.
Good. What does he like to do?
He likes to play video games. He likes Minecraft and Roblox. He likes to play with Legos a lot. And he likes to spend time with hanging out with his foster dad. And I mean, he loves food. He really likes food.
Me too. I understand. Okay. All of this sounds very good. What is the permanency plan for Jesse? Is this foster home a long-term placement?
It is. He is willing to be a long-term placement. I've spoken to him numerous times about potentially adopting Jesse, and he continues to remain hesitant. So we are putting Jesse back on tear. But he has stated that he's willing to keep Jesse for as long as, you know, until he turns 18, and even afterwards, he's willing to keep Jesse.
Know what his hesitation with adoption is?
He's just worried about. I'm trying to recall his words exactly, but he does a lot of law enforcement, and he's worried that if anything were to happen to him, all of the responsibilities that he has for himself would fall onto Jesse, and he doesn't feel that's right.
Huh. Okay. You said we have him on tear in the Heart Gallery.
Yes, we are working on that at this moment.
Does the foster dad know that?
Yes, he is aware.
Okay. All right. Anything else on Jesse?
No, Judge.
All right. We'll have another review hearing September the 8th at 10.
Thank you, Judge.
Is there anybody that can maybe visit with the foster dad about these concerns that he has that can maybe help him understand what would happen if something happened to him and help him with those concerns?
Potentially, I can staff with it with my supervisor and see if there's someone that could maybe join me next time I visit with him this month.
Okay.
And speak on it.
I understand his concern, but hopefully we can find somebody that can work through a plan with him, maybe.
I agree.
Something like that happened. But hopefully get some permanency for Jesse. We don't want to be in foster care for the next 6 years.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, September 8th at 10. The parties. Thank you.
Freddie McCluskey, on behalf of the department, also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Taylor McDonald and Supervisor Will Rattan.
Haley Long standing in for Katie Mason, attorney for Andrew.
Okay, Andrew is in trial independence. Do we have any contact with Andrew?
No, he was discharged from placement in January. He went to a friend's house. He left that friend's house to came to Lubbock, and it was February, I think early February. And then since then, I haven't had any contact with him. I was in contact with his mom, but she has blocked me. And he was using a text app, and it's no longer in service. So I haven't had any contact with him.
Since February?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. He was staying with his mom?
He was staying with a friend. I think his mom helped him get to Lubbock. She won't let him live with her because she has small children in the home. And she doesn't think he's safe around those kids. So she was going to help him find a placement. Last time I talked to him, that was in February, and they've both blocked me.
He had a brother in care for a long time, Nicholas. Do we have any contact with him? Possible that maybe he knows where he is?
I don't think he has any contact with any of his previous siblings.
Okay.
I know he had a biological brother that passed away, and then he had an adoptive brother that passed away, and I'm not sure. I know he doesn't have any other contact with his other siblings.
Ms. Long, anything from Ms. Mason on Andrew?
No, Judge. She has not had any communication with him in months, despite reaching out to him multiple times.
Okay, Ms. McCluskey, what do we want to do with Andrew's case?
Judge, I think we just need to move forward with the trial independence period in the hopes that he will actually return at some point.
Okay. I will set another services review hearing September the 8th at 10. Let me have the parties identified.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
Freddie
you.
McCluskey, on behalf of the department, also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis permanency specialist Ethan Woods, and supervisor Will Retain.
Mr. Woods, tell me about Summer. It looks like she's doing well in Lone Star College.
Yeah, she is doing incredibly well, Judge. Full-time student at Lone Star, has maintained a 4.0 GPA for the duration of her time there, so pretty impressive. Working a full-time job as a customer care rep, kind of a work-from-home deal that she's got. I have no concerns with Summer. I fully expect that this summer she will be leaving extended care to live on her own. She's waiting on housing assistance through Harris County right now. So she is fully ready. She's got her own car that she pays for. She pays for her own insurance. Got her own phone that she pays for. I mean, she's about as ready as a young adult has ever been to live on her own without us calling monthly and going out to check on her. So she's doing great, Judge.
She has done great, I think, the whole time she's been on my docket. Any sort of medical issues?
No, none at all. And if she has something come up, she knows who to call and how to get there, and she takes care of everything. She's pretty awesome.
Okay. And career-wise, what is she interested? She's still interested in psychology?
So she's got her esthetician certificate. I think she's going to school to kind of pair up a degree with that. Doing a little business stuff to try to get that career off the ground. She's kind of put some of the clientele on hold while she focuses on school and work. But I think that's the ultimate goal, is to get something set up where she can do the hair and beauty and makeup stuff. And she's good at it. She's very good at it.
Good. Okay. Yeah, never had an issue with Summer. All right. Do we need to continue to have hearings with Summer?
I believe we do, Judge. She won't be 21 until January 20th of 26, and she remains in a seal at this time.
Okay. We'll have another review hearing September the 8th at 10. Let me have the parties identified.
Thanks, Judge.
Randy McCluskey on behalf of the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Mike Thornton.
Lindsay Murray on behalf of the child.
Okay, Mr. Thornton, tell me about Elijah. Looks like we're in a new group home.
Yes, he requested it, so we moved him into a new group home. He's going to a public high school. He's still showing some anger issues, but he's doing better. They're able to give him some time, let him calm down, and he'll come back and complete his assignments. So he's passing. He just has some anger, and it takes some time. He did complete his PAL services also.
Okay. Do we think he's going to pass the 9th grade?
Yes, I'm thinking so. He's looking forward to the summer. He's wanting to play kickball and basketball and wanting to go swimming. So I think he's trying real hard just to get through the school year.
Okay. Do they have all of those things available for him at the facility?
Apparently, he said that they have told him he's going to go swimming, but they have sent me several pictures of him playing kickball. So I guess they go to the park and do it.
All right. And you said he did PAL. Does he have his social security card and birth certificate and all of that?
He's got photocopies. I have his birth certificate, and I'm using that to get his original social security card right now.
Okay. Is he wanting a driver's license?
He hasn't asked for it, and I'll have to check to see if they have some program at the school to get him through driver's ed.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. Is he happy here?
Not really. He's one-on-one. He says he's tired of the staff always watching him. And I asked him, can you behave if we undo that? And he's like, yes, I just want to go to a foster home or be adopted. But
okay, let's talk about that. He's on tear in Heart Gallery.
Yes.
So we're recruiting for him.
Yes.
All right. Any sort of interest so far?
The only reply I've gotten was from his older adoptive sister. And I used the therapist to supervise that so they could talk, but she said she wasn't able to adopt. She just wanted to talk to them. And I've tried reaching out to her since by email, several phone calls, I've left messages, and she's not replying back to me.
Okay, does he know any other relatives that we might be able to look at?
No.
Miss Murray, any ideas about permanency for Elijah?
Not anything additional that was just discussed. Those are kind of what I am aware of as well. So I don't have any other helpful items to add at this time.
Okay. Any additional concerns regarding Elijah?
No, I just really want him to be happy. Once again, he's a great kid, and I hope we can find something that works for him.
Do we know what, Mr. Thornton, do we know what he might be interested in after school?
He's told me he wants to work in intelligence, and he says if he can get hired by the CIA, that will work. And if not, he wants to join the military and go into intelligence.
Military might be a great option for Elijah.
Yes.
Do they have any sort of ROTC or anything like that available in the school that he's in?
I have to check into that. I haven't even thought of ROTC.
That might be a good thing to get him
Yes.
set up with that, if there's a program like that available somewhere around. Okay, very good. I will set another review hearing September the 8th at 11. Thank y'all. Identify.
Randy McCluskey on behalf of the department. Also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Anna Gonzalez.
Carrie Peoples Casa.
Excuse me.
Okay, Ms. Gonzalez, tell me about Zoe. We're in the same RTC, but we're having some issues.
No, ma'am. She was discharged. We got notification of discharge on 4/11. She was supposed to be picked up on 5/11, and we found placement, but no placement was found for Zoe due to her behaviors and the caprices and angeresis with Zoe. She was picked up today, this morning at 8:05 by our transport team and is being brought to the CWAP house in Amarillo, as we have no placement options for her.
Excuse me, the what house?
The Child Watch House.
Child Watch House, okay.
Okay, what are we doing to try to find placement for Zoe?
We are sending again another notification to all of our possible placements. They even increased her PSA. It's just that the enuresis and caprices is a big deal for a lot of the houses. That's why they hesitate. Also, the fact that Zoe is a little bit racist and does say the N-word when aggravated.
Are there some placements, RTCs in other states that we can contract with to try to get her placed?
We're looking, ma'am. We're having a meeting with our placement team to see what we can come up for Zoe.
Okay, tell me how Zoe is doing.
Besides that, there was a period where she had been doing really good. In March, we had talked on the phone and she was very excited because she had not had an accident at school for 2 weeks in a row. Her triggers come and go. If she gets a new roommate, she starts caprices and enuresis as a form of protection for herself. She does tend to blow up whenever she gets a new roommate, and she regrets it afterwards because she does want to make friends. She just doesn't know how to explain herself, so she gets frustrated, and that causes more problems, especially when she wants to be bossy. But she was learning how to be more patient and count to 10, and working with Miss Lakeisha there at Graceful New Beginnings, and Carla Cage, who was her therapist weekly, who would visit her twice a week, was working a lot. But just if any little thing goes off, she will regress. As we saw, she had behaviors at home where she was hitting staff and other peers in the home, and she had an outburst at school where she did retaliate physically. That's what pushed them further to do a discharge on Zoe on 4/11. She is up to date medically and dentally.
dental appointments. She has her glasses. She hasn't broken them so far yet. They're supposed to have traveled with her here to Amarillo. She has a LIDA appointment on June 4th in Houston, but I told them that I would keep them notified as she was being discharged from her placement and we didn't know where she would end up. But we know how important it is for her to keep up that IDD appointment with them. I did send in all the completed SSI paperwork to Mr. Batke on 4/25/25, and I'm just waiting an update on that.
And that's to get her Social Security income?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we've got, sounds like all of the same sort of behaviors and issues that we've been having for some time. Is there anything new with Zoe that we haven't seen previously?
She is more verbal. She can communicate. Like I said, therapy was actually helping her where she can communicate a lot better. It's just that when she regresses, she does tend to regress all the way and goes back to her habits of saying, I don't know, I don't remember, I don't want to talk about it, and just avoiding the subject altogether. But when she's fully like over it and she's like thought about it, she's like no longer upset about it, and you call her and talk to her, she'll like fully explain to you like why that situation happened, what she could do differently, that she'll try to do better. It's just that at the moment she does still blow up.
Okay, school-wise, tell me where we are.
She is in the 7th grade, but she is still at the 1st grade level. She had another psychological done last year on October, and her IQ level actually diminished from a 74, I believe, to a 60 now.
Okay. Casa?
This is just my first moment of learning that she's been moved to Amarillo. I knew she was being moved, but we didn't know where. When you mentioned out of state, it really scares me for Zoe, because like the last 2 times she has not wanted, she gets so angry. She doesn't want to talk to anybody on the phone. She's tired of the phone calls. And CASA is just like, we can't monitor her safety or her care because she doesn't want to talk on the phone. And I mean, I had a great relationship with placement, but she doesn't want to talk on the phone anymore. She said, I want to see you in person. I want to talk in person. So Amarillo is a little closer. I can make that trip occasionally, but I sure would hate to see her move further away. The evaluation that St. Francis and I got from the psychological, it was done back in October, but we didn't get it from placement until April. And that evaluation, this is the first I'd heard that this psychologist really believed she needed an autism evaluation, that she not necessarily talking to her, do you think that, but she tested for autism, and he recommended an autism specialist. And if that was the case, then she would be eligible for services regarding autism that would be so helpful to Zoe in so many ways, because it addresses a lot of her behaviors. If she got that diagnosis, I think that would be terrific. And I suspect she would get that diagnosis. But when you combine the intellectual disability and the trauma and autism, and the psychological also indicated some bipolar, and then you add in her hormones, and as Carrie said, she's a tornado. Everything is spinning out of control for this kid. And, but on the other hand, she is so loving and can be so sweet. And her placement loved her so much. And Miss Lakeisha told me if she had a home that she could take Zoe to, she would. And the Burkhalters wanted to take her to their home, and that didn't work out because of Zoe's accusations. And my concern too with her being so far away is the Burkhalters, I think, are just at the point of this is her only fictive kin we have, and I sure would hate for us to lose them, but they're persistent, but they're wearing thin on not being able to visit with her. So I would really like them to be notified that she's been moved and where she is, so that they can speak with her. because that's an important support system for her.
Okay.
Judge, could I add something too?
Sure.
When they're talking about Zoe having like a decline when she has a roommate, it's been brought up by the placement, some of the therapists there, that Zoe tends to do worse because they feel, because of trauma, she's afraid of somebody harming her or hurting her. So the minute they put a roommate in, she does start having more of the enuresis and caprices, things to like keep the roommates away from them. And I don't know if it's possible. I know placements are hard enough as it is, but if there was any way she could even be in a placement that she could have her own room, I think she would maybe succeed.
Certainly. Ms. Gonzalez, what is the status of getting her tested for autism?
I'm waiting for her LIDA appointment first, as that will also open up a lot of behavioral treatments that she could get through the IDT department. But after that, we will schedule her autism. We just need to know where she'll be placed so we can get that with whoever her primary caregiver will be.
Okay. It's great that she's in Amarillo, but Child Watch is no sort of placement for any kid on my docket. I don't want any of my children in Child Watch. Certainly don't want a kid with this significant amount of needs in Child Watch. It's nice that she's close. It would be wonderful if we could find her an appropriate placement that's that close. Any chance of that, Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, we'll get again with my supervisor and staff with placement to see what we can find with her. Because even last week there was an option with Empower, and it was just the enuresis and caprices that was stalling them. And that if they did accept Zoe, they would be something with licensing. So they had to check with licensing too. So we'll go ahead again, staff with placement team.
And certainly it sounds like it would be better if we could find a place that she didn't have to have a roommate.
Yes, ma'am. She worked really good in the TCF home that she had here in Lubbock. So we're trying to find something similar as well.
Okay. Anything else on Zoe? Very challenging. Thank you all for your work with Zoe.
She is on tear and on the heart gallery. And so far I've had no bites.
Okay. I will set another review hearing September the 8th at 11. Thank y'all. Please identify.
Thank you, Judge.
Brandy McCluskey, on behalf of the department, also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Uriah Alvarez and Supervisor Will Retin.
All right, Ms. Alvarez, tell me about Nikki. It looks like she's doing fantastic.
Yes, Your Honor. Nikki continues to do just absolutely just well on all accounts. She is, as I noted in my report, she managed to get into the showcase program through the campus, so that's opening up a lot for her. Because of it, she's going to get reduced housing, and then her commute is going to go from about like 10 minutes to about like 0, because she'll be living on campus, so she is very looking forward to that. Her biggest fee is typically gas, so getting to cut that down is something she's very pleased about, which I understand. She is still at a sophomore level, but with how she's taking summer classes each semester, she's bound to finish at least 1, if not 2 semesters early. So that's exciting. But because of that, she's starting to focus on internships. She really wants to get at least 1 in this upcoming semester to go ahead and start making law school a bit more practical. She is trying to get in with Dr. Keel through Foster Life. They said that there were some attorneys she might be able to connect her with, so we are hoping to hear back positively on that.
Okay. Healthy? Any sort of medical issues?
No, she had no complications from her wisdom teeth surgery that she had, and that was the last big one, and she's been doing really good.
Good. And is she working?
Yes, she's still working there on campus. She gives tours as well as works a little bit in like a clerical capacity, and that's where she got part of the showroom approval through.
Good. Is she doing anything fun?
She reports that her biggest fun is her roommates and her boyfriend, which are good things to have. I love those strong positive relationships. She's also been hanging out with her mom and her siblings a lot more. She reports a lot about having better contact with her sisters, which is really good to hear. And then she does say that she does do some sort of like gaming social life in between all of the classes and the work.
Good. Okay, Nikki is a fantastic young lady. I think she'll be just fine. Anything else on Nikki?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I will set another services hearing for Nikki, September the 8th at 11.
Randy
Thank you.
McCluskey, on behalf of the department, also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Heather Eubanks and Supervisor Will Rattan.
Ms. Eubanks, tell me about Ethan.
I have a great report for Ethan. It's my understanding that you haven't got many of those, but Ethan is doing wonderful. He communicates with me beautifully. We talk probably 3 times a week. He is currently in school, though he is very far behind. He's at a 9th grade level. He is working hard. He's going from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., which is better for his house because he does live with a bunch of guys who stay up very late. And so that works out great for him. He's looking for a job at this time. We had some difficulties with his ID documents. I apologize. And so now that he is in school, they have everything set up for him to go get a Texas ID, and then we'll move forward. We needed those school documents. We had his medical records, so we were able to use those to help with that Texas ID. He says he doesn't care where he works. He can work fast food. He can work with his hands. He doesn't really care. He just wants to earn a little money to have just extra to do the things that he wants to do. He does use his stipend to buy food or pay for his cell phone. We had a hard time getting him into school, but once he was finally in, his principal was very impressed with him. Everything's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. He is very receptive to any type of advice that we give him. If he ever feels overwhelmed, he knows how to reach out to his support system, being his mother or his grandmother, myself, his old CASA worker. He's doing good, and he's come a really long way. We did have a hiccup where he was arrested by default. This is a crazy story, but there was an incident in the house that he lives, and the police were called. And when the police took everyone's name, Ethan had a warrant out for his arrest here in Lubbock for grand theft auto. We were not aware of it. We could not find it on any of our system. Jim could not find it on his. He couldn't find where it was. He did receive a public defender who was able to get the charges taken down, but he did spend a week in jail, which was really discouraging to him. But we spoke a lot about how the causes of our past are the effects of our future. And he was very receptive and understood, and just really took that time being in jail with stride. We were really proud of him. It did not set him back. It only made him go forward and want to do better for himself. So Ethan's doing great. We are very proud of Ethan. Up to date on all of his medical appointments, takes his medicine just as he is supposed to. No emergencies recently other than the one jail incident, but no hospital emergencies or anything of that nature.
Okay. All that sounds very positive. Is he going to pass the 9th grade this semester?
He will have to. So he didn't get started until late into the semester. So that's why they are looking into summer classes for him. But Ethan's goal is to just go and keep going and not take much of a break so that he can get caught up, since he is supposed to be graduating this year.
All right. Good report on Ethan. Thank you.
Yes.
I'll set another review hearing September the 8th at 11. Thank y'all.
On behalf
Thank
of the
you.
department, also present in the virtual courtroom is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Heather Eubanks and Supervisor Will Rattan.
Matt Morrow, trained for Dawson, present ready.
Okay, tell me about Dawson.
I have not had any contact with Dawson since right after his 18th birthday. He called asking how to get a food box in the Amarillo area, gave him the referral for those things. And after that, we really have not spoken. I know that Sydney and him keep up with each other. But other than that, I do not have any new information on Dawson. He has roommates he lives with, and he says he's doing great.
Okay. Mr. Morrow, any contact with Dawson?
No, ma'am.
All right, he is in trial independence, so I will set another review hearing for Dawson, September the 8th at 11. Let me have the parties
Thank you.
identified. Thank y'all.
Freddie McCluskey, on behalf of the department, also present in the courtroom, is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Kristen Anel.
Sarah Hedman, attorney ad litem for Ernest, who is also present.
McKenna Shelton Casa.
All right, tell me about Ernest. Where is he placed? I know that he was moved in April. Tell me the latest on Ernest.
He is currently placed in the Dallas area right now. He does have a 30-day discharge. Placement did put a discharge in. The last day for placement is June 7th. We are looking for other placements for him. He was discharged for not following the rules at that placement. It was mainly around not giving up his cell phone and the electronic rules that they had. Overall, though, Ernest is doing okay. He did have to unenroll from online school, and they enrolled him into public school. He did go to the school. I had no bad reports. I talked to him when he was at the school. He said that he was okay. He was taking extra PE classes that were not necessary, and I believe that was due to it being at the end of the year. But so he is in school. His grades are doing okay right now. They are all passing grades. He's up to date on medical and dental. He's on any medication at this time. I'm not sure what our plans are for the summer yet, because I know that since we're being discharged from this placement, we're not really sure where he's going to go next. He may have to come here, but we're hoping that there's an open tent bed or something that we can get him into.
Ms. Hudman?
I just learned of the discharge, so I don't know what to say. I'm disappointed that they forced him to unenroll in online school. And I hope that that doesn't mean that he lost his the credits that he was acquiring. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know.
Any placement options, Ms. Hudman, from your client?
There is one from my client. He and I have been discussing it. I don't believe it would be an authorized placement, but he does have a biological brother that's got a criminal history. But it is something that we are wanting to explore, and I will get the information to Kristen.
Okay, I will order a home study on the biological brother. Let me know when that has been done, and let me know when we can have a placement hearing.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge. CASA just recommends that Ernest resume biweekly weekly therapy sessions once a placement is located. We weren't aware that therapy was initiated at this current placement, just with, due to the time that he's been in this placement. So we are recommending that be initiated and resumed as soon as he gets placed at his next placement. In addition to the potential missed credits for his school, we hope that we can find resolution for that, potentially, and especially him getting re-enrolled in that online program if able to. If not, then being enrolled in an online school that is closer to placement, or a public school that offers the ROTC, because I know that he enjoys that. Ernest did want to share with you, and I think Sarah was aware, that he wants to enlist in the military as soon as he turns 17. This has been, a frequent request of Ernest, that he really, and just overall goal that he really wants to work towards. And he was also wanting to share his transcripts today during court. So I don't know if Sarah wanted to go through that as well.
I don't have them at my ready. My
My concern on the enlistment is that we need to get him enrolled in a GED program or something like that towards a GED or a high school diploma. I think that I mean I fully support the military enlistment, although the education, last I understood, the military required a high school diploma or a GED before they would enlist. This isn't 1942 anymore. So, and that would likely take a lot of, I know he turned 17 in August, so that would certainly take a lot of schooling and summer school type stuff. I certainly know he's bright enough. I have no concerns about him being bright enough. But perhaps focusing on a GED program. And one of the reasons I say focusing on a GED program is not necessarily because of the military, but because if he's getting moved around, as he's been moved around, just like, we're not sure where he goes to next, if it's a step bed, if it's whatever kind of educational outlet he has needs to be portable, needs to be something that continues regardless of where he is physically situated. And I think there are quite a few online programs. Texas Tech K-12 has one that can help him work on that goal, be able to accomplish that goal instead of being enrolled and then unenrolled, enrolled and unenrolled. That causes despair, discouragement, like he's taking 2 steps forward and 14 steps back with his education. And so that would be my recommendation, is that St. Francis looks for and finds and pays for a GED or an accelerated online school system so that he can focus on that regardless of what placement wants to say, because it's about to be summer. And so there's no reason for him to not be in school.
I agree. I say, Miss Noel, let's find an online program and get a computer for him and get him set up.
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to speak on that. I did talk to Ernest, and he does have 21 credits right now, so he's not behind in school. He is on track. And we did enroll him into the K-12 Texas Connections Academy, but they couldn't do transfers, so that he will start in August for the whole new school year. So he is enrolled in the next coming year, which is just in a few months, because this time I think we get out of school on May 23rd. So then for this next coming year, will be in online school. And I think the new placements going forward, we would want to keep him in that online school because he does have 21 credits and he is able to graduate with a high school diploma soon.
Great.
But if there's something that can be done this summer, like to get a few more credits,
then we would definitely look into it. I just know that the K through 12 doesn't offer that, but I know that there are summer classes online somewhere that we can find.
Thank you.
Ernest, is there anything you want to tell the court?
So Miss Hudman doesn't have my transcript, but I have it with me. The counselor just printed it out for me. My STAR test, I have completed all of my ELCs except for US history. I was removed from the placement the week of STAR test, so the counselor will get with me so that I can take my US history STAR test in the summer, and if not in the summer, next semester. Currently, I have 3 English credits, 3 math credits, 3 science credits, 4 history credits, 3 health credits, 3 PE credits, 2 languages other than English credits, 4 fine art credits, and 8 elective credits. Right now I'm at 21 credits at the end of the school year. Our school year ends May 28th. I'll have 23 credits. I was talking to the counselor. We did make a schedule for next year. In the event that I do get placed in the Dallas area, he said that the districts around this area will be able to accept my schedule that we made since they all share the same classes. Next year I will be taking my healthcare endorsement classes so I can get certified as an EMT. He did give me one off period. He said the state did change the requirements for students to have off periods. So along with that off period, he did give me a workforce period, which allows me to leave campus early if I have a job. So he did state that next semester, if I'm still in public school, I have to have a full-time job and work at least 15 hours a week and leave campus for work. And
Ernest, I'm
then
very proud of you. It sounds like you're
I
doing
will
awesome in
be
school.
in a schools class. So he did say I will, by the time I graduate, 3 and
Ernest, you're cutting in really bad.
I need 26 to read. Oh, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can't hear you very well. You're cutting out. Can you hear me? Okay, when you guys talk to Ernest, please tell him how proud I am of him, especially with respect to the schooling, okay?
And he does have his learner's permit, and we're opening a bank account for him through PAL right now too. Forgot to mention that earlier.
Okay. All right, all that sounds very good. Please update the ad items as soon as we find placement for Ernest.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
Just briefly, were we able to get him like a bank account at the new place, or has it not been long enough? I don't know.
It hasn't been long enough, so they're going to go through his PAL worker right now, and they're going to set it up. It's the one where he completed his PAL classes. It's the one that they get after that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on Ernest?
I'm back. So
I see you.
Yes, ma'am. So the counselor did write on here my expected date of graduation is December 2026. So that
You're cutting out again. I'm so sorry, Ernest. Okay, we are set for a hearing tomorrow, y'all. Is there any way that maybe we can, I can go away, y'all can visit, and we can work that out?
That is possible, Judge.
Okay, let me go away and y'all visit. Do we want